Hi, this is Spooked with Emma. I'm Emma, and since it's coming up to Halloween, I thought it would be a fun time to revisit some of the old Halloween-specific point horrors, starting with this one, Halloween Night by R.L. Stine. And what we're going to do is I will go through the entire plot. So it will have a lot of spoilers. Probably if you were going to read it, you already have. And if you're like me, it was probably a while ago that you read it. So I'll go through the plot and then just do a bit of kind of reaction and review as well. On the back of the book for this one, it says, Brenda hates her cousin Hayley, and she's not the only one. Hayley shouldn't go around stealing other people's boyfriends. It could get her into trouble. Big trouble. Brenda is determined to have her revenge, the perfect finale to her Halloween party. She's going to stop Hayley's evil games once and for all, or so she thinks. The thing is, Hayley's got a few tricks up her sleeve, and they're not pretty. This will be a Halloween Brenda will never forget. So the main character, Brenda, she is a senior in high school, so I think about 17 years old. It's the last year of high school. And she has two friends, Tracy and Dinah, who she spends a lot of time with at her house. She has a brother called Randy who's 10, and Brenda also has a boyfriend called Ted. Tracy has a boyfriend, he's called Noah, and Dinah does not have a boyfriend because, as Tracy says, Dinah is too tall to date, which doesn't make any sense. And also, it's revealed quite early on that actually Brenda's boyfriend Ted was Dinah's boyfriend in their junior year, which is like a year ago. So, but anyway, everything seems fine now. Dinah doesn't mind that her boyfriend from last year is going out with Brenda. But she clearly isn't too tall to date, unless she just grew so tall in the last year. And also, is that a thing, being too tall to date? Anyway, so the main problem in Brenda's life right now is that her cousin Hayley, who is the same age as her, has moved in with them. And the reason for that is that Hayley's parents are divorcing and they are having a row over custody because they both want custody of Hayley. And so while that's all ongoing, Hayley has come to live with her aunt and uncle. It's unclear why she can't live with either of the parents during the divorce proceedings while that's all going on. She just says there was too much arguing. So there's too much arguing at Hayley's house, so she's moved into Brenda's house. They seem to not know each other very well, even though they're cousins and they're the same age. But now that Hayley's moved in, Brenda's parents have made her give up her room. So Hayley's in Brenda's room and Brenda is in like a box room now. And this box room has a vent that opens up into the living room. So everyone in the living room can hear everything that anyone says in Brenda's room, which will become important later on. So it starts off, Brenda, Tracy and Dinah are all in Brenda's room just talking about how much they hate Hayley and that she's been flirting with Ted. Brenda's really angry, and then Tracy's like, let's just kill her. And at that point I was thinking, okay, this is an extreme overreaction. The others agree, they seem fine with it. Slightly taken aback, but then don't worry, it's just for their creative writing project where they have to write a murder mystery. So they're writing a murder mystery about Hayley being murdered. What they don't know at that point is that Hayley right now is out for a driving lesson with Ted, Brenda's boyfriend, and that during this driving lesson they kiss. The driving lesson is a bit of a ruse from Hayley because she already has her driving license. So she admits to Ted later that she just wanted to get him alone so they could kiss. So that happens, and then when Brenda finds out about that, she's obviously really, really mad, and she's like, actually, I want to kill Hayley for real. And Tracy's also annoyed because they were talking about that Hayley has also been flirting with Noah, Tracy's boyfriend. That night, Brenda finds in her room a cardboard cutout of a man that kind of looks like it's peeping into the window. Obviously it gives her a fright, then she realizes it's a cardboard cutout, and then on the back there's a message. It's like, see you soon at Halloween. So she thinks Hayley or Randy, one of them, has done this, and she's really mad, and her parents are like, it's no big deal, just don't worry about it. Neither of them have done it, which is strange though, because if it isn't Randy or Hayley, then why are the parents not worried about someone else coming to the house and doing it. I guess at this point they're not in the house, they're just maybe doing it on the other side of the window, but still, I'd be a bit concerned if someone was coming to the house to do this. They think it's a prank, so they're like, don't worry, Brenda, it's just a prank. And it's not your cousin or your brother, so just don't worry about it. There are some other of these kind of pranks. One is where Brenda finds on her bedroom wall someone has written, "See you at Halloween," in blood. Again, the parents, even though an intruder, presumably, if they're saying it's not Hayley or Randy, then presumably they think an intruder's been in the house to do this, but they don't call the police or anything. And then another time, there's a headless bird in a pumpkin, again in Brenda's room. So you'd be surely thinking about stepping up security, like closing windows and things. But anyway, the parents aren't too worried. Brenda thinks all of this is being done by Hayley. Hayley's denying it, but Brenda is kind of insistent that it's Hayley. Brenda and Tracy go out to an ice cream shop. Dinah isn't with them because she's working. She works in a vet's office because she and her mum don't have much money ever since her mum divorced her dad. So they don't have much money. She's working in this vet's office. And meanwhile, Brenda and Tracy go out for ice cream and they see Tracy's boyfriend Noah holding hands with Hayley. So Tracy's then really mad as well at Hayley. And Hayley just brushes it off. She's like, you don't own him. And then once Ted, Brenda's boyfriend, finds out about Hayley and Noah, he wants to kind of get back together with Brenda. And she goes along with it, which I was a bit confused that she would, especially because he's like, well, we should still be together, but also we can still both see other people, clearly meaning Brenda's cousin. So I don't know why she would be fine with that, but she is fine with it, or at least seems to be fine with it. Hayley winds Brenda up even more by borrowing her car and then driving through a stop sign into an oncoming car. So the car is quite damaged and Brenda is really mad, but Brenda's parents like, it's just an accident, these things happen, and kind of take Hayley's side. Brenda then goes completely crazy and tries to strangle Hayley, but they pull them apart. Tracy then tells Brenda that Ted and Hayley have been kissing again. So this is all kind of weird. Like, is Hayley interested in Ted? Is she interested in Noah? It's unclear at this point. But then there's a school dance, not the Halloween dance, just some other separate dance. And at this dance, Hayley and Ted kiss, and then Ted and Noah have a big fight over Hayley. They're fighting in the car park and Hayley's just there kind of smiling. But the next day at school, Ted and Noah are like friends and laughing and joking. So at this point I was thinking, okay, are Ted and Noah kind of in this together and they're doing the weird pumpkin and the blood stuff? I don't know, but it definitely seemed kind of suspicious. And also like Hayley's setting this up, kind of. Because it's weird if Hayley just is interested in both of them, because even if she is, they're not both going to still be interested in her, right, if she keeps playing them off against each other. Brenda then tells her friends, look, let's not keep this as a creative writing project, let's actually kill Hayley. And then Randy comes in and is like, does anyone want to play Prince of Persia with me? That was a good one. Does anyone else remember Prince of Persia? That was a big childhood thing for me, so I quite enjoyed that reference. Anyway, no one wants to play with Randy because they are plotting a murder. And how they're going to do it is they know that Hayley for the Halloween party is going to wear a gorilla costume. So they think, well, if someone stabs her when she's sitting down, no one's even going to know that she's stabbed for quite a while because the blood will just soak into the fur and it won't show up. So they want to have their own Halloween costumes, but then Brenda is going to put a Frankenstein costume over her costume, stab Hayley wearing the Frankenstein costume, and then put the Frankenstein costume in the laundry chute because she says no one will ever look there. I don't know who she thinks is investigating this murder, but apparently they're not going to look in the laundry for sure, ever. That's the safest place to put clothes that you've used to murder someone. Also, it wasn't fully clear why they would need a different costume, because if no one can tell that she's been stabbed for quite a while, then how would they know which costume even did the stabbing if no one sees the stabbing and no one knows about the stabbing? Anyway, but that's the plan. They're going to switch costumes and do this and kill Hayley. Dinah is not really on board with the murder, but the other two are like, no, we have to do it and you can't tell anyone because the police won't believe you anyway. Which, it's possible the police wouldn't believe her, but then after the murder happens, the police probably will put two and two together, right, and be like, that's weird that we had a report that there was going to be a murder at this Halloween party and then there was. Anyway, they don't think about that. Brenda goes to meet up with Ted and he says, oh, I'm gonna leave Hayley alone now, I'm only interested in you. And she's like, okay, Ted, you're forgiven. You should come to the Halloween party. You should wear a Frankenstein costume. So she's thinking she's going to set him up for this murder of Hayley, which would probably work quite well because of the jealousy thing with him and Noah. So he's quite a good scapegoat, really, I would say. I will give her that one. That was quite sensible. But when Brenda gets home, Hayley's there crying and is like, I can't believe you want to kill me. Have I really been that bad? And Brenda's like, how do you know? And Hayley says, well, because I was in the living room and I can hear everything that happens in your room through the vent. I guess Brenda had forgotten. So Hayley cries and apologizes for everything and says, I only wanted to steal your boyfriends because you were being mean to me and you weren't very welcoming. And Brenda's like, yeah, I mean, fair enough. So they become friends. They decorate the pumpkins and everything for the Halloween party. And then the Halloween party happens. And at the Halloween party, the gorilla gets stabbed by the Frankenstein. At some point, someone sees a pool of blood on the floor and starts panicking and is like, oh no, the gorilla's been stabbed. People start ringing police and ambulances and everything because someone's been stabbed. Then they take the gorilla's mask off and it's Brenda dead. Hayley is like, oh, I was meant to wear the gorilla costume, but Brenda made me swap. And then somehow they know it was the Frankenstein that stabbed the gorilla. And there are two Frankensteins and they make them reveal themselves. And both of them are completely new characters that we don't know. And Ted hasn't come as Frankenstein because he's ill, so he hasn't come at all. Then dead Brenda sits up and is like, happy Halloween, everyone. I sewed a stab vest into my costume and I used a fake pool of blood to trick you all into thinking that I was dead. Then Dinah says, how are you not dead? I stabbed you. And it's revealed that Dinah knew Brenda was in the gorilla costume and she stabbed her, and her motive was that Brenda was not very supportive to Dinah when Dinah's parents were going through a divorce, and so Dinah doesn't like seeing Brenda not being supportive to Hayley when Hayley's parents are going through a divorce. She doesn't mention as a motive that Brenda's going out with her old boyfriend Ted, and she also doesn't mention the kind of low-level bullying from Brenda and Tracy about saying, oh, you're too tall to date. And Brenda's like, well, I just thought you wanted to be alone because of the divorce. So to be fair, Brenda is not a very good friend, I would say, but still doesn't probably deserve to be stabbed. And Brenda and Tracy had been planning all of this because Brenda had worked out that Dinah was the one threatening her. This part doesn't make sense. So the clues apparently were that the message on the wall was written in blood. And Brenda was like, who would have access to lots of animal blood? Dinah, because she works at the vet surgery. But it's not an abattoir. I don't think they're collecting the blood of animals. Do they at vet surgeries have big buckets of blood? I find that doubtful. And then the other clue was the headless bird that was left in Brenda's room. And again, I would say if you care about your pet bird enough to take it to the vets and pay for it to be looked after by a vet, probably if it died, you'd want to take it home and bury it, not just leave it there and be like, oh, do what you want with it, just behead it if you want. Unless the bird died by beheading. But if the bird had died by beheading, you would think, well, this bird's beyond help. There's no point taking it to the vet because it's been beheaded. So the clues that Brenda used to work out that Dinah was after her didn't really make sense. But anyway, Brenda had worked out that Dinah was threatening her, and so she and Tracy had come up with the plan to pretend that they were going to kill Hayley to kind of smoke Dinah out so that then Dinah would kill Brenda, I guess. I don't know, because why did they actually think she was going to do murder? So the police come, they take Dinah away, and everyone's like, she's gonna get the help she needs. And then Brenda and Haley are now friends, and they're like, oh, now we'll be like sisters. So I guess Brenda's over like the thing with Ted. Ted's not mentioned again, he's still at home ill. And the thing with Ted and Noah fighting and then secretly being friends, that was just a red herring that just went absolutely nowhere. I do like my red herrings to be explained or to have some kind of reasonable explanation where you can think, oh, it seems suspicious, but actually there's an explanation for it. That one was just forgotten. Anyway, I thought this was quite good. I didn't work out what was going on. I mean, I was suspicious of Dinah, but probably not any more suspicious than I was of Tracy or Ted. I wasn't suspicious of Haley because that would have been too obvious. But yeah, I thought this was quite a good one. Let me know if you have any thoughts on it. And if you enjoyed it, the good news is that there is actually a sequel, Halloween Night 2, also by R.L. Stine. So we'll be looking at that one next week. So please come back if you're interested in that. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.